it's Evan from Lux BMX here. Just today I want to talk to you about some new race componentry, specifically the new race hub from Arise BMX, which is We Make Things race development company, I guess. So yeah, this is a pretty interesting little new hub that Arise have released. Obviously there's quite a few good disc brake hub options around at the moment. Certainly, there's a few different technologies that are bouncing around too. These guys have kind of pushed away from a traditional ratchet mechanism and are actually using something very similar to a ring drive, which in the past has been reserved for more expensive hubs on the market. Yeah, the other thing with these guys is they're really light for what you're getting. So at around 300 grams, it's very light for a race hub with this level of features. So yeah, I'll pop it apart. Basically, the ratchet mechanism, you get a really nice positive engagement. It's around 72 points of engagement, roughly, sort of thinking. Haven't actually got the specs yet, but really nice, positive, responsive feel without too much drag. So some of the heavy engagement type hubs, they might be really loud, but they might have a lot of drag, which really slows you down. So, but yeah, really cool setup. Really simple to work on. Really, it's great to see a bit of thought going into some of the design features of the hub. So it is convertible. You can use a 15mm through axle straight up, and then there's also a 15 to 10 mil adapter that goes in, so you can pretty much use it on any hub, any frame that's on the market these days. Yeah, it works quite well. So it's really simple once you pop it apart and you look at the engagement mechanism. So essentially you've got a couple of bearings in the driver. It's a chromoly driver body, really quite lightweight for a chromoly driver body. And then you've got an annular contact bearing in the hub shell, and then behind there you can actually see the ring drive configuration. So a little info in regards to how a ring drive system works opposed to a standard cassette mechanism. In a traditional cassette system, you have a ratchet system, I should say, you will have poles which disengage and engage in the hub shell in an engagement ring. They're just spring loaded. This one, you've basically got a helix thread on the driver body. You can see there's kind of small fine helix splines on the driver body. They engage directly into the drive ring itself, which slides up and down on that helix pattern. In turn, the drive ring has small, the ratcheting teeth which engage into the hub shell, and then it's spring loaded. So as the driver body turns, the drive ring is engaging down the splines and biting into the inside of the hub shell. It's actually biting on the outer face on here, so it's going that way, which means it's a really positive engagement. It's really unlikely to slip the way they work. The engagement ring will always stay relative to the driver body as it moves in and out on the ratcheting surfaces in the hub shell. It's always aligned with the driver body, and then once it does engage, it locks into the hub shell. So it is a really solid system with, as you can see, very few moving parts. You've essentially just got the drive ring itself moving with a spring behind it, and both the driver body and then the internal ring in the hub shell essentially fixed. So the mechanism has, including the spring, basically 4 components. Really solid system, really unlikely to slip, really nicely performing sort of hub. It's really simple, really lightweight. There's not a lot of material in there, but it works really well. So really easy to pop back together. So I guess that's kind of the gist. They're like I said, really excited to see some new ideas coming through, or at least revisiting some old ideas maybe that have been around, but executed really well when we look at these componentry from Arise, and excited to see what comes out in the future from them. If you've got any questions, hit us up, certainly in the comments. We'd love to get your feedback on this sort of stuff. It's obviously cool to see some new stuff. Whether you think it's a great idea or not, definitely let us know what you think, and go from there. Cheers.